Hello, I'm Premakumar Fernando. You can see me on this family photograph. Third from the left is me in a maroon color shirt, and this is my family. This was taken just a couple of days back when my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, who are at the center, when they celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary. And from the third from the right, you can see my wife, and then my son-in-law and my eldest daughter towards my side, then my youngest daughter and my son-in-law towards the right, and also my granddaughter. My son and my daughter-in-law are not here, and because they were at another function, and my grandson, little grandson, he's also not here. I just want to share my story, the life story for the glory of God. So basically what I thought was I will record some of these things, and later on hopefully someone will put it into a book so that it is all for glory of Jesus Christ. I was born into a Buddhist family. Now I'm almost 60 years. I'll be 60 in September. I was born into a Buddhist family, and I grew as a Buddhist, very strong, coming from very strong two Buddhist families, my father and mother. They came from two very wealthy families, rich families, and they belong to traditional Buddhist families. And, you know, during our small days, life was very tough. Probably things did not go well with my father, and we were into a lot of difficulties. So surely we did not do very well. And you can see me in a little photograph here. That's me again. So that is just for you to know the present me in that way. So in a way, life was with lot of difficulties for me and I'm the eldest in the family, and there are 7 others in the family, or rather there were 7 others, altogether 8, 5 boys, 3 girls in our family, and we grew with lot of difficulties and economic crisis, I would say. There were days that we did not have enough food to eat, but it was my mother's persuasion, and my father also gave me a lot of support. I studied in a government school, and later on I managed to get through advanced level examination in 1974 with good results at that time, getting through all 4 subjects. And then I decided, or rather one of my friends persuaded me to follow a career in accountancy. Truly, I did not know anything about accountancy because I did maths as my subject, but at her insistence, I did accountancy. That's one of my closest friends from our school time. One, Shiromi Disanayaka, now she's Shiromi Mendis. So then I did chartered in 1975. I started doing Chartered Institute exams of Sri Lanka, and lot of difficulties during that time. Probably some of my aunts gave me my lunch packet to be taken to the office. It was so difficult. My mother pawned her jewelry, and somehow, you know, we did well. I did well, and I succeeded in doing chartered all exams in my first attempt. And 1978, by the time I was just 23 years, I was a fully qualified chartered accountant. In 1976, I won the intermediate accountancy prize of the entire Chartered Institute. And in 1979, I was just 23 plus. I got a good job in one of the leading private sector firms in Sri Lanka. And I thought, okay, my days are coming. It was a deep struggle, but I thought my mother's pain, my father's pain will be over, and that, I could do something for them, and, started work, and things were fairly shaping up well. Uh, by 1979, I was really working in one of the best companies in Sri Lanka. Somewhere in 1981, I found my life partner, Roshini, who is at the third from the right in this picture, and we got married in 1981 after a couple of years love affair. She was working in the audit firm where I was apprentice. So she came from a Christian family, a Methodist, and even though I was a Buddhist, it was not an obstacle for her, not for me. The two families did not make any objections. So we got married. The church was not given to us, but we got married with blessings of the Methodist priest, and that was in 1981. So since then, in 1982, my eldest daughter was born, who is on the second from the left, and husband is there in the blue shirt, in the corner left, and that was in 1982. And now she has got two little kids, my granddaughter, who is just about 7 years old now, and also my little grandson, who is just about 4 years old now. Life was very good by that time, and in 1985, I had my son being born. Now he's a banker working at Standard Chartered Bank. And then in 1987, my younger daughter, who is second from the right, was born, and her husband is at the corner of the right. So, as I said, this was taken when my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary. So you can see them too. So this is how the things went for us. And as I said, by 1982, I was doing very well in that company. And I was the chief accountant in that company in 1982. Very big company, 1982. And then I was appointed as a director of one of their subsidiaries in 1985. By that time, I was given a scholarship by the British Council of Sri Lanka to go to UK, and in Manchester Business School, I was the only Sri Lankan to be sent on a scholarship. I did a business management degree in Manchester Business School. When I came back, I was promoted as a director of one of the subsidiaries of this big company, and later on in 1987, I was again given another directorate in another company in their group. So worldly, I had everything. I was a Buddhist, my wife was a Methodist, and somehow, even though there were no agreement, I thought it is right to have all children in mother's religion. So I just basically baptized all my children in as Methodist. We never had any issues. My wife used to join me to come to the Buddhist temple. I used to go to the church, so it was all right. Materially, we were doing very well. By just when I was 33 years old, I had two cars parked, and you name it, I had everything live. Foreign travel, recognition, and all things are there for me. That was the life at that time. However, to make a story brief, in 1988, somewhere in October, to be exactly 14th of October 1988, as usual, I went to office, and then my finance director, my immediate boss, called me to his office. He's such a friendly person. That day he was in a different kind of a mood. He called me and he said, you know, you have robbed some money from the company, and he showed me some vouchers and he said, we have enough proof and I want you to give your resignation immediately and take your things and go off. Oh, that was a big shock for me. I had never robbed, neither I never thought that there will be an accusation like that for me. So I denied it, but then he did not accept it. He said, no, you have taken this money. Please admit it. So I denied it. I said no. By that time, my eldest daughter was just 6 years, my son was just 3 years, and my youngest daughter was just only 1 year. So it was disaster. So anyway, what he did was he gave me a letter suspending me from office, and he told me to go home. So I don't know how I drove the vehicle, and when I was coming, I was thinking for a moment, you know, now no life beyond this, because the company was such a big company, and I knew what they have been doing for some of the earlier people in similar situations. So I knew this is the end of my life, end of my career. And that particular day, 14th of October 1988, it was the day that my sister-in-law delivered another baby to our family. That is my nephew. So I went to the Colombo nursing home to see the little child, or more to tell my wife what happened. But there were so many visitors, I could not tell my wife what really happened. So what I did was, I took the car and came to my home with the intention that I will set myself on fire and commit suicide, because I thought I had no future. But I could not do that one. What happened was, when I came and parked the vehicle, one of my accountants just followed me and stopped just behind me. So I could not do what I really wanted to do. And then I went home. He joined me. So he was there for a long time chatting with me till we informed my wife. Then she came rushing to home to see it was such a disastrous situation. I did not know how to face the world, because I was so angry in a way, so mad in a way, and in a way I was so sad. Oh, what happened to me? Suddenly, this was like, from nowhere, something is happening to me. So the next thing what I knew was that the story had spread all over, and it was like wildfire all over. People saying that, so and so has robbed money, and this company has, sacked him, terminated him. And the trust, the credibility, the confidence that I built in that world was shattered in one moment. The children were very small. He simply did not know what to do. Times passed by. I was really angry. But what I saw was my mother-in-law, my wife, and their family, being devoted Christians. They were, most of the time, they were praying. I did not know how to pray even. I was really crazy, angry, and with a revengeful heart, wanting to take revenge from these people who had done such an unfair thing for me. So I just went on with that kind of acts, going to various covils and various places, doing some kind of vicious things. But it so happened, by that time, one of my friends, one of my school friends, one of the closest friends that I ever had, Raju, came, and Raju and Lilanti, they took me to a place in Murutua, a Christian place, where they were conducting healing services called Devsua Seva. At that time, I was just going to any place. I was going to Muslim mosque, Kovil, any place you call me, I will go, because I didn't know what to do like. But that day, when I went, that was in November 1988 when I went. That day, the preacher was the president-elect of Methodist Church, Reverend Asiri Pereira, and president-elect of Sri Lanka Methodist Church, and he was preaching about loving your enemy, and he was preaching about don't worry about your troubles. I was really going mad at that time. What is this man telling me? Don't worry, right? Because that was a Tuesday, a healing service. So for a moment I was really mad. What is this man telling me? But it so happened after some time I realized there's some truth in what he says. There was some peace flowing into me. That was somewhere early November 1988 on a Saturday. There was some peace flowing into me. Something was telling me, pray for your enemies. Of course, I seen my mother-in-law, my wife, and my sisters-in-law, they were doing that kind of a thing. So I saw this, and then I thought, yes, this is the right way to go ahead. I think that was the day that God touched me. Or really, I think God touched me even before that, on that 14th of October 1988, when I want to set myself on fire. That accountant was sent, one of my subordinates was sent to follow me by God. That's how I believe it now. But anyway, so happened that service that day was something of a different nature for me for those couple of days or 3 weeks like. When I came home, I did not know how to pray, but I started sort of, in my own way, having some kind of a peace and telling, yes, Lord, forgive them for what they have done for me. There was such a big inflow of peace into me. And I was able to sleep maybe after 3 weeks, that particular night, quite peacefully. Because most of the other nights, I used to get up in the middle of the night and thinking of committing suicide. However, it so happened, just few days after that, I get notice from I did not get the notice from the Criminal Investigation Department, but I came to know that the chairman of the company has lodged a complaint against me in the Criminal Investigation Department. So, that was shocking, that was shattering for us. Because before that, actually the time when this happened, 14th of October 1988, the chairman of the company was not in the country. He was out of the country. So later on I met him, the chairman, 17th of October, I met him at his residence. So he asked me what happened. So I just explained everything to him because he was so friendly with me, explained everything to him. And then he said, don't worry, Premakumar, I know what has happened. I will look after you. You give your resignation. I will get you another job. Don't worry, because you can't work in this place any longer, but don't worry. I trusted him. In fact, I asked him, sir, can I trust you? He kept his hand upon his heart and he said, trust me. Trusting him, following day I went and gave the resignation. Oh my God. Immediately after I gave the resignation, this very chairman who said, trust me, went to town and said, everyone, so-and-so has resigned, so-and-so has admitted that he has done a fraud, he is guilty, and he has resigned. And then thereafter, so I had the company car, so he told me, don't return the company car, I will get you a new job and I will get you a new company car. So I just kept the car. But a couple of days later, he gives me a call, or rather my wife only took the phone, said, hand over the car. So we had to hand over the car. And then he has gone to the Criminal Investigation Department. God was so good. It's not right, but that is the way that God acts. There was a person in that department who saw our file and he said, there is a complaint and they will come to arrest you now. Don't stay at home. So we had to make some arrangements, and we moved out. Those days, no mobile phones, very few land phones. So they have come to my mother-in-law's place wanting to arrest me. But I was not there. So they have come to my place, I was not there. So they are coming civil and they just asked where is so and so. But the people knew, because by that time we have got information. That's the way God protects us. That's the way God protected us. And then we knew I went to CID on my own and surrendered to the Criminal Investigation Department. And there I had that opportunity to give statements. I started giving statements that very night, that very evening. They started recording the statement, and I was telling them. They were a little bit harsh at the beginning. They were trying to question me on all sorts of lines. But by that time, I had one of my school friends, Lakit Piris. He, who I knew from my small days, they had some kind of connections with the then IGP, Inspector General of Police. He personally spoke to the Inspector General of Police and said, I know my friend, he will never do a thing like this, so please, look after him. Next day, that night, I had to stay inside the CID. They gave me a kind of a mattress to sleep, and I was kept inside the CID. And the next day, I was to be produced in the courts. And if I was produced in the courts, I would have been remanded, surely. The chairman of the company came ready to the courthouse, thinking that I will be brought to court and with his lawyers to make a case to remand me. But it so happened, the IGP instructed the CID official, don't produce me in courts, get me to give statements, come daily and give the statement. So I was not produced. That is again God's love. I was a Buddhist, but God knew me. And I was not produced in courts. So daily I used to go and give statements to CID. And the CID, they really realized that this is a false complaint. Most of the vouchers, they have removed the supporting documents. There were staple marks, there were the staple holes, and they could see those things. But, that is the way it went on. For 2-3 months, I had to go every day and give statements to CID, Criminal Investigation Department. I could not get a job. No one was willing to give me a job because the company was such a big giant. In fact, the chairman told me at that time, I'm talking in 1988, he said, you may have 1 million, we are 100 million, so you don't think of fighting us, you just resign, I will look after you. So this is how he took my resignation. Anyway, after a couple of months, CID realized that it's a false complaint. So the inquiry officer made a confidential report to the Director Criminal Investigation Department saying it's a false complaint. And by that time, they have finished up their investigation work, and after recording everything, they said it's a false complaint. So I was fairly satisfied. By this time, I was going to Devso Seva every Tuesday, and there was a lot of peace for me, and I was quite happy going through all that scenario. It so happened, just when we were thinking, the family was thinking of little bit of kind of freedom arising with the CID saying it's a false complaint, no need for them to take it to courts and all that kind of a thing. It so happened, one day we came to Devso Seva, and after finishing the Devso Seva, when we came home, we get a telephone call. And one of our cousins says, Kumar, don't stay at home. They have now filed an action in the civil court of Colombo against you, and they have taken a warrant against you, and they are coming to arrest you on Friday, because that Friday it was a long weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday was also a holiday. So they were planning to arrest me on Friday so that I will have to be in remand at least for 3 to 4 days. That was their plan. You can see how vicious the world is. So anyway, God was so good. How did we come to know? It's difficult to divert the total scenario, but a person who was in the courthouse saw this file, the name, everything, and then they gave a call. That person gave a call to one of our cousins and said, Kumar is your cousin. He's having a complaint. He's having a charge, and there's a warrant issued against him. So that's again God's love. We knew exactly that they were coming. So by that time we met a lawyer, and Thursday night we did not stay at home. We were elsewhere, and Friday morning, early morning, we went to courts before they could arrest. But they came with a convoy of vehicles to my residence to arrest me early morning at 6 o'clock. My daughter, who was just 6 years, was fast asleep, my elder daughter. They woke up and asked, where is the father? Little girl did not know, and she was excited. So they were so wicked, vicious, that was they. But God was good. So I appeared in the court. Court gave me bail. I had to give some money as bail, but court gave me bail and I came out. They were surprised. They were wondering what is happening. How come they did it so secretly? But, my dear brothers and sisters, God knows everything. No one can hide things from God. We can hide things from people, but not from God. God knew, and God did the rest of it. So that was it. So after that, that danger was also gone. So by that time I've experienced 2 scenarios where they could have arrested me. Both the situations, God intervened and changed. I was still continuing to go to this place, the Seva, and by that time I was more than convinced that prayer is the right tool to use. So I stopped gradually all what I was doing, the other things like doing, various other religion work. I stopped it and I focused totally on Jesus and Jesus alone. It so happened I found a little job, a small job to do it, but I could not do it for too long because the company, my earlier company people spoke to these people and said, don't keep him. So they told me, thank you very much, you have to go home. So that was all right. It was a tough period. We were going through all those difficulties, all that kind of a thing. And it so happened nothing seemed to be working right. But, we just kept on going. The children are small. Only my elder daughter was going to school at that time, Ladies College, Colombo. Many people said that I don't think you can send her to Ladies College now because you are not having any income. So you might as well remove her from Ladies College and put her to a government school. But we kept on going. We knew some breakthrough will come right for us. But even though we thought things were very difficult, even though I was a chartered accountant, by that time I had completed my CIMA also. So I was chartered plus CIMA, double qualified, good knowledge, British Council scholarship, Manchester University degree, all sorts of things. I mean, it was good. But with all the qualifications, with all that, nothing seemed to be happening. So I worked with one of my friends. We opened up a little shop, and we used to bring goods from Colombo, and we used to carry goods and come little boxes and all that kind of thing and sell it in a little shop. But we started, so that was the way. And then I bought a small van, and with that small van I did a school hire trip. So most of the parents used to call me driver. That was all right. I was the financial controller director of that company one time, but now I'm called a driver, but that was also all right. So it went on like that. I was somehow keeping my home fires burning, and it happened. September 3rd, 1989, just about 11 months or 10 and a half months after this incident, on the 2nd of September 1989, that was a Saturday, Reverend Theodore Pereira, he is actually my spiritual mentor, he called me and he asked me, Kumar, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, there's nothing. It was Saturday, it was Sunday. I said, I'm not doing anything. I'm just staying at home. Why don't you come to Methodist Church in the bed? So that's a church in Morotua, in our hometown. It's a Methodist church. He was conducting a special Sunday service in that place. I said, all right. So myself, my wife went for the service. I was always determined that even though I was married to a Methodist, I was determined never to change my religion. So I went for that service Sunday morning, 3rd of September 1989, and there was an altar call asking people to come and surrender their lives. I sensed a feeling of a push, someone pushing me. Sometimes, in fact, I look behind to see whether anyone is pushing me. A sense of pushing asking me to surrender. But I thought, no, madness. I'm a Buddhist. I'm going to be a Buddhist, and I'm not going to surrender. So I just kept on, saying, no, I will never do it. But it so happened, the pull was too forceful for me to just to wait. But I was almost glued to the pew which I was. Then I heard a very clear voice, an audible voice, surrender your life to me. And that was the first time and probably the only time I heard Jesus speaking. Surrender your life to me. I could not stay any longer. I just went and knelt at the altar. My wife was just by the side of me. I simply did not have time to tell my wife. I just told Reverend Theodore Pereira, I'm surrendering my life to Jesus. Oh, he shouted and screamed saying, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. That's how my Christian journey began. 3rd September 1989. In spite of all the problems, in midst of all the problems, God was speaking to me and I responded. I believe that journey which I started in 1989, 3rd of September, since then I had never gone into any non-Christian religious places or anything like that. 100%, 101%, my trust has been on God. And that is my beginning of Christian journey. So I will share you more in my next discussion because I want to put it up in different slides, this thing. Hopefully, this will be very useful for some person to write a book on these areas. Thank you very much. God bless you.